Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. With complete coverage of the Utah Hockey Club, this is Cole Bagley of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday to you. It is a bowl game for BYU in Colorado tomorrow down at the Alamo Bowl. Jake Shapiro, who we had on from Denver Sports, of course, he had to mention that the Pop-Tarts Bowl, that's the only thing we're missing here, is an edible mascot. And so I will say that the food down in San Antonio is actually really good. The Tex-Mex is
Oh, no, you go down to the Riverwalk, and there's some awesome barbecue down there. There's great food places down in San Antonio.
There's a place down there. You're a food guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying this right. Chili's? Chili's? Because the fajitas come out.
I heard they make great baby back ribs
the
there.
fajitas come out sizzling.
They do.
I don't know if you know that. All right? We'll give it a shot.
You haven't lived if you haven't burned yourself on a Chili's fajita.
It's a hot plate, sir. It's a hot plate. All right. Joining us right now on the program, just like the voice said, he is our Utah Hockey Club insider for KSLSports.com. Cole Bagley joining us on the program here. Cole, last time we chatted with you, the team was hot. Now they're on a 2-game losing streak. But it doesn't feel like it's that dire of a situation. This team has figured some stuff out. They're in these games. They have not had the blowout loss. That Dallas, the Dallas Stars game the other night was another close one. They were there right up there at the end, but it's another really fun one at Delta Center. So give us an idea of what's going on with this team right now as they're in the midst of losing 2 in a row and facing off against the Colorado Avalanche tonight, which is a very, very good team and a division rival.
Yeah, I mean, they're 6-4 over the last 10, so, it's not like back in November, late October, where they'd lost, 4 or 5 in a row, and it seemed like all was lost and, everything was falling apart. It's just the nature of the National Hockey League. Every night is difficult. Every team is tough to play against, and, momentum swings are a big thing. I think that's what a lot of hockey fans are learning here in Utah is, Utah's up 4-1 against the Ducks. They end up losing 5-4 in overtime. So, that kind of stuff happens. Dallas is a very good team as well. They're fourth in the division. And I think something that's significant is over their last 7 losses, the Utah Hockey Club has only lost each of those by 1 goal. So, like you mentioned, they're not getting blown out. These aren't, huge losses. It's clear that this team is competitive. They can play. Some nights it's going to go their way, and some nights it's not. So it's just about finding that consistency. It's about making sure that you maintain momentum. And, tonight's another night where they can prove that they can play with the best. Colorado has surged up the standings in the Central Division. They're now third. They're 7-3 over their last 10, so just a little bit better than the Utah Hockey Club. And Nathan McKinnon is currently the best player in the NHL with 57 points. So, yeah, it's tough, but this team has definitely turned a corner, and I don't think that we were going to see, oh man, this team is awful, to wow, this is just a superior team in the National Hockey League. No, it's steady growth, and that's where they are right now, and hopefully they can keep it going tonight.
So many positive things to talk about with this team, but there's obviously you're always going to be looking for things that they can do better, and you mentioned it quite a bit in your reporting. Is the third line has been struggling. Why is that? What do you think the solution is for that?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that a line can struggle. I talked to Nick Bukestad about it this morning, and he says, for whatever reason, he's been in the league for a while, and he said he's been through stretches like this where whether it's individual or as a line, you're just kind of struggling, and you just kind of have to keep working at it and keep going through the motions and doing the things that are going to help out. From my own personal perspective, I think that line is just kind of lacking a spark. I don't see kind of that fire on that line. I think it's been better over the last few games. The effort's been a little bit better, but I think for a while, you only get 2 points over the course of 15 games collectively. it's tough, especially when some of the other lines are producing. Nick talked about it with me as well. He said, hey, we're trying to stay out of our own heads, but that's another challenge in itself. So I think it's what Nick said. If they want to just kind of continue to roll with this line and see if they can break out and start to produce more consistently, it's exactly what he said. It's sticking with it. It's continuing to go through the motions. It's bringing a little bit more energy. And, he said one thing in particular is we just need to shoot the puck more, because the more opportunities you get, the more opportunities there are for the puck to go in the net. So that's what I kind of anticipate is, they'll keep rolling with them. And, I know that they're hoping that, things kind of start to flip the other direction.
The Avalanche are interesting because they haven't had great goalkeeping this year. It's been kind of inconsistent, but they just did sign up Blackwood for a 5-year deal, and he's been kind of that bright spot. They've been struggling back and forth. I think when last time we chatted with you and they were playing the Avs, it was this Avalanche team. It was ahead of Utah in the division standings, but their goal differential was a struggle. Where are they at right now from a goalkeeping standpoint now that they've inked a new goaltender for that 5-year deal and almost, I think, what is that, $27 million a year for Blackwood as he comes in? Where do they stand right now, and how do they improve that portion of their game with that new signing today?
Honestly, I was kind of surprised by it. I don't think he's a phenomenal goaltender, and they've only had him for a couple weeks. And so I think it's kind of interesting to see a deal like that take place. I know that there were some other, national riders and such that were a little, confused by it. But yeah, I think they're just playing better collectively as a unit. The thing about the Avalanche is they're going to score a lot of goals. I think they're one of the top 5 teams in the NHL in terms of putting the puck in the net. And that's going to happen when, you've got a guy like Nathan McKinnon who's got almost 60 points by himself, and then Cale Makar, the best defenseman in the league, and Mikko Rantanen. And so, they're a very offensive-minded team. Their goal differential right now is +1. And so basically they're just, they're putting the puck in the net a bunch, and just enough, 1-2 more times than the other team. A lot of their games are high scoring. As far as their goaltending goes, I guess time will tell if that contract pays off. I think for them, it's more of they haven't really had decent goaltending for a long time. I don't even think they had decent goaltending when they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago. They just were so good that it didn't matter. But now they're kind of reaching more of a point where some of their roster is thinned out a bit, and they need more, solid net minding, and so they got a guy that they believe in. He's not bad by any means. I think he's top 30 in the league in goals against. I think he's like 2.83 against a night. So, good goaltender. I think they've just been looking for one for a long time, and they came across one, and they decided to sign him. So I guess we'll see how it turns out.
If they're going to beat a team as good as the Avalanche tonight, they're going to have to continue to be good on the penalty kill, but that's what they've done over the last 11 games, 33 for 37 on penalty kill. What's the key to being great at penalty kill, and why has this team been so good over those 11 games?
Well, first of all, you need a good goaltender. And Karel Vejmelka has been superb. He's a top 10 goaltender right now, and I think his greatest skills are, how quickly he responds and how well he sees the puck. Something that Coach Bear said, directly speaking about, what is helping Vejmelka have the season that he's having. He said he just tracks the puck really well. And so, if a goalie knows where it is, he can most times make that save. And then as far as the rest of the team, a lot of it's about maintaining your shape, right? So if you're down a 5-on-4, it's a box shape, for the most part. And you can either go at it, directly for, or sometimes they might pinch one of the forwards up a little bit higher so that they can defend the wings with 2 on the wings and 1 in front of the net. So it's just maintaining your shape. It's every guy, accounting for his area. It's, sacrificing your body. They're getting a lot of block shots from Sergachev and Ian Cole. That's why Ian Cole is missing about 4 or 5 teeth right up front there. But then, they're playing as a unit. PKs are hard. 5-on-3s are the worst. But this team, has some of the best special teams in the NHL right now, both offensively and defensively, and it just speaks volumes to how well they're playing as a collective unit.
Cole, one of the things that we've been following, obviously, with this team is, whatever the points race is going to end up being, where they're at right now with the points that they have so far this season, knowing also, I think Winnipeg also surpassed that 50-point spot already this year, and so this is a tough division as we've talked about. But from a point standpoint, where are they this year compared to maybe not exactly necessarily where they were last year? That's a little bit of homework for you on the fly, but where are they right now and compared to where they were last year, and kind of and also on track, or if they're behind the game when it comes to where they're supposed to be development wise?
Yeah, I think based off the knowledge that I have of last year, they were in the playoff race in December, about the same point margin. But I think, collectively, the division's a little bit better than it was top to bottom last year. The Jets obviously are having a phenomenal regular season. Colorado is in the race as everyone anticipated they would be. Dallas is in the race as everyone anticipated. But I think the fact that Minnesota has taken such a step, right, has added another team to that, playoff race. And so it's making things a little bit more difficult. But I do think this team is ahead, just based on potential, based on who they are, the emergence of some of the young stars, the additions of guys like Stenlund and Ian Cole. And, John Marino, I think is, based off what I'm hearing, should be back, around February is kind of the timeline that I'm hearing right now. I think Maverick Lamoureux is supposed to be back mid to late January. And so, if they can keep playing this way, if they're winning 60, 70% of the games that they're playing, if they can get a couple guys back onto that blue line to shore it up a little bit more, and if, Vejmelka continues to play as good as he is, they're in a really good spot. Last year they lost 14 games in a row. I can't remember exactly when that was. I want to say late January, early February, that just put them out of the race. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that there were all these rumors of the team, being sold, and eventually that happened. And, how can you focus and play, meaningful hockey when you don't know where you're going to end up, the following season? But they're here now. They've got a really good squad. Things are working. They're playing well. They're getting, veteran contributions and leadership from a couple guys. Cooley and Gunther are, superstars in the making, and it's looking good. So I like their chances. I'm not going to say, yeah, they're for sure a playoff team. No, but they have the potential. If they can if they can play the rest of the season like they've played December, I think they'll make the playoffs.
You just mentioned Gunther, and I'm looking at stats. And did you expect Gunther to have more goals at this point than Nathan McKinnon? It's pretty impressive.
No, phenomenal. It's incredible what Dylan is doing. Like I said, I think him and Logan Cooley are superstars in the making. And, Bill Armstrong was very, very smart in the fact that he was able to extend Dylan for as long as he was able to. This year I think we're going to get 3 or 4 years down the road, and we're going to go, okay, this is a steal of a deal for Dylan Gunther. And Logan Cooley will be up for an extension after this season, and I expect the same thing. So, yeah, we got some very, very good young talent on this team.
Do you think that deal happens if they're still in Arizona, meaning with the old owner? Is that the difference in this move, where you're able to make that big of a commitment to a player when otherwise they may have held off or been told to hold off?
That's a good question. It's hard to say. I know, what 21-year-old's going to turn down over $7 million a year? I don't know very many that would say no to that, but I think it helps. I've talked to so many of the guys over the last few weeks, and they just love it here. It's night and day difference. Utah is really transforming into a hockey state. Salt Lake is quickly evolving into a hockey town. Just with the reception, with the people that come through here every night. Ryan put a bunch of tickets up for free tonight, and they're going to pack the barn, and it's going to be just an incredible atmosphere. And so I think it helps. I don't know that he would have said no necessarily, but I think it was a very easy yes. for Gunther.
When does the All-Star voting fire up? Usually it's around the beginning of the year, I think, when the fan vote opens up. And how does it compare to how they do other leagues? You know, you have some version of the voting that happens from the fan, and then then the league kind of decides, and the NFL or the NHLPA obviously has a lot to do with how they make those determinations. But what does that look like? And I know Clayton Keller was an All-Star last year, but does this team is this team lined up to have another All-Star or two this year?
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be All-Star voting this year because of the Four Nations face-off.
Oh, that's right.
You know, they're having that kind of preview of the Olympics, if you will, in February. But unfortunately, Keller was not named to that roster. You know, if you ask me, I believe he was snubbed, especially with how he's been playing since he was not named to that roster. So I don't think there's all-star voting this year, but there obviously will be awards, come the end of the season. So it'll be interesting to see if, a guy like Vejmelka has a shot to be named one of the top goaltenders or not. I think the way he's playing, if he can continue to do so, I think he's going to have it. And if Utah makes the playoffs, he might have a shot.
All right, Cole Bagley, of course. We're looking forward to this one tonight, and of course, anytime that you have a Colorado Avalanche and Utah Hockey Club facing off against one another at Delta Center, it's a really fun one. So have fun tonight, and we'll chat with you again. And thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Yeah, thanks. Anytime, guys.
There you go, Cole Bagley, everybody. That's a fun one to go to.
Oh, we talk about the formation of rivalries.
Yeah,
things building.
Vegas comes
takes
to town.
time.
Colorado comes to town.
These are regional teams that you're going to be playing a lot, and you're starting to develop a history with these teams. And tonight's another one of those games where you continue to develop that relationship with the neighbor.
Situationship. It's complicated.
Very.
I don't like them, but they live by you, and so you have to put up with it.
Yep. You live in the same division.
The same time zone. All right? Figure it out. Right around the corner. We've got some NFL to I've got a beef with the NFL. Got some real crap games. There's been some real crap games over the last few weeks.
Christmas was craptastic.
Christmas was bad. And then yesterday, I went home, and I'm in my chair, rocking back and forth, going, what am I supposed to do with myself? That was maybe the worst.
I have a confession to make when we come back.
All right. We'll come back. We'll talk.
It's embarrassing.
We'll talk NFL. Our Blitz is next, so stay here. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. You know what that music means, of course. For NFL Blitz, JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. JJ, how's it been being back at work today, brother?
Good.
Yeah,
we're having fun.
We have had fun.
We're selling cars.
Well, we aren't.
Oh.
Although at this point, I think you know what?
I want my milkshake.
Give me my commission milkshake. That's it. What I do love is that Chris sold that car to his buddy, and his buddy goes, "I'm gonna get you a milkshake." That's like totally like my grandma would do. JJ, I love you. I'm gonna get you a milkshake because you did such a good job on that car sale.
Is that a sales version of a Werther's original from your grandma?
Exactly right. She busted. Remember when we were there at the mall the other day, and
Yes.
that grandma came by and she dropped off a bunch of Lifesavers. I still think about that because I love those Lifesavers so much. All right. Here, you can get a whole shiny cord.
It's crazy. I don't buy them, but when I'm offered one, I'm like,
they're there.
I kind of enjoyed that.
Yep. Yeah. All day. Yes, but like I said, we're at the Doug Smith Mitsubishi here in American Fork, and we've been hanging out all day, and it's been a fun time. So, before we get to our NFL Blitz, BYU versus Colorado tomorrow. That's going to be a 4:30 Cougar pregame show. Myself and Jake Hatch, that's going to kick that off right at 4:30, and you're going to be able to hear all sorts of fun stuff, including the press conference today between Coach Prime and Coach Kalani Sitake. Couldn't imagine two more different dudes, by the way, sitting down. Prime was wearing white overalls. It was like he was in a boy band in the late '90s. It was sweet. But of course,
Coach Prime's back. All right.
Do you know what the brand of overalls were, though?
I did not notice.
Prime brand.
Oh, I see what he was doing.
They were his. I don't know if
he's going into the off season, which is prime season.
Yeah, of course.
He's got his show coming out.
Oh,
I get it.
He's got all those things. All those irons are in the fire.
Dude is a master marketer.
But you're going to be able to catch that, and then the post game, of course, as well. As soon as that thing goes final. So, BYU versus Colorado. Man, I'm crossing my fingers that one turns into a really good game.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be. On paper, it says it is. All right. The Cowboys have now shut down CeeDee Lamb for the rest of the season with his shoulder injury. I would just go ahead and say, hey, Mike McCarthy, you're shut down for the rest of your season as well. Will Jerry Jones have the guts to fire Mike McCarthy
no, he
at
loves
the end
him.
of the season?
He'll be back next year.
What?
I'm
serious. Did he already say it?
I think he's really happy with him. They have that nice.
He's been happy with him.
I don't know.
It's been some of the worst. My favorite thing is say what
Jerry's
you will about
a prideful
Jerry Jones.
man.
He is. Say what you will about him, too. He's like, I'm going to still go on my radio show every week.
How long did Jason Garrett last as the head coach in Dallas?
Way too long.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, when do they just Jerry Jones, you can say what you want about him. He just doesn't do stuff on a whim. Like, he doesn't just fire people. He's a pretty loyal dude. Like, he picks his coach, and, like, he's pretty stubborn. It's like, this is going to work. We're going to make this happen. He's been stubborn for 30 years. They haven't done a dang thing for 30 years.
I thought I was loyal to the Seattle Seahawks until last night. A 6-3 win. Now, they won the game. I should be – they have 9
What's wrong with you? They're still alive for the playoffs.
I know. They have 9 wins on the season.
They're right there. The Rams lost. They're right back in it.
They could win their last 2 games, and if they do, they'll win the division.
Right.
Which is crazy. Thinking that the who would have had the 49ers as the worst team in that division, by the way?
Not me. I picked them to win the Super Bowl.
I know.
The show we did before the season. Again, I'm an idiot.
No, but we laugh at it, but at the same time, like, we were like, they have a very short
All
window.
their stars got hurt. That happens.
But apparently that window is even shorter than we thought. So the Seahawks win 6-3 last night. It's the 10th loss in a row for the Bears. And I know they have an interim head coach. I just don't know if that situation's fixable. I think that the NFL has ruined another young quarterback.
Who wants that job?
What, the quarterback for the Bears or the head coach?
I should be more specific. Who wants to be the head coach of the Chicago Bears?
That's a would you rather.
It's a coach graveyard.
Head coach or starting quarterback for the Bears, because neither one gets a lot of action.
We talked about this when Caleb was drafted. It's like, name the Hall of Fame quarterback for the Bears franchise.
Never.
Who?
Yeah.
Jim McMahon's the greatest quarterback, and his career was cut short by injury.
Is Kyle Orton, is he a Hall of Famer?
He had a Hall of Fame beard. That's about it.
Oh.
By the way,
6-3. That was such an awful game to watch.
I have a confession to make.
What do you
This
have?
is really embarrassing because I love football.
You're an
I
NFL,
love
you're an
watching
NFL
football.
guy, too, yeah.
Yeah. I sat down on the couch last night to watch that game. I didn't last 15 minutes. I was out.
Oh, I
fell asleep.
I don't blame you.
It was bad.
No, I don't blame you. I think most of the
Maybe
reason
it was the rain and just like
it was all of it. It was
vibe
so bad to
was
watch.
so sleepy.
So many punts last night. I don't know if it set a record, but it felt like it. I just don't know.
I hope Prime got their money's worth last night.
They did
Brutal.
not. They did not, because even their announcers are like, "This game sucks." Doesn't
Oh,
it? Back to
jeez.
you.
Look, the NFL is king, but then there's nights like last night. You're like, man, not every game's great. Not. There's moments, and you get late in the season. There's a lot of guys that are banged up and hurt, and you have situations like the Bears where the wheels kind of come off. But there's going to be some great games this weekend. So the NFL overall will be fine this weekend, but between the 2 blowouts on Christmas Day and Thursday Night Football being an absolute dud, not a great start for the second to last week of the season.
14 punts last night in the game.
Well, 14.
7 for each team.
I love special teams.
It was not the most times that the Bears had punted in the game this season.
Of course not.
Neither was it the most that the Seahawks have punted
Really?
in the game this season. So,
Wow.
I want to apologize to all of America that my Seahawks have actually turned around a couple of the most dud. And look, I feel bad because the Bears' defense is pretty good. And they have, like, veterans on that defense. You have Jalen Johnson, too, when you think about a guy who's an all-pro dude. And their inside linebackers have the most starts, I think, of 2 inside linebackers in the whole league. So they have a lot of but, you know, when you hold the team to 6 points, you're at home, you think you might have a shot. You do not. You do not, Bears. And Jalen Johnson, they were even interviewing him before the game, and they brought it up, and they said, what are you looking for in a head coach? He goes, offense. I want an offensive-minded coach. This is coming from one of the best defenders in the league. He's like, give me an offense, please.
Well, I have bad news, Jalen. They've never been good offensively in Chicago, ever in my lifetime.
Bad deal.
They had Walter Payton and Jim McMahon in the 80s. Since then, they have not been good.
So Jalen Hurts was in concussion protocol as of this morning, and it's now official. He's going to be out against the Cowboys this Sunday. That's bad news for the Eagles because
it's good news for the Lions and Vikings.
Yeah, it's a tough deal because when you go out because of a concussion, you are definitely on that list of everybody staring you down, going, "Yeah, but are you really okay? Yeah, but are you okay now? Let me see your eyes. Like, how many numbers am I holding up?" And the NFL will get you out on the field, pretty quick and they couldn't justify getting him out on the field. So there you go. You had something else on that.
I was just going to say the Eagles are only a game ahead of the Commanders.
Ooh.
Like, they could literally fall from playing for the top seed to falling to a wild card.
What's the Commanders' record, by the way?
They're 10-5.
Oh my goodness, how good of a job have they done this year?
It is really impressive.
Crazy.
But the Eagles end with the Giants, so they'll probably get that win and get the division.
Yeah, they will. All right. Teddy Bridgewater, by the way, unretiring after his high school that he coached just won a title. And he's coming out. He's signing with the Lions.
That's cool.
I don't know if it is.
There's some. Well, no. Let me say why it's cool. Because it tells you a lot about the person. So why would the Lions want to do this? Why would they want to bring in Teddy Bridgewater at this point? Because they need a guy like that in their locker room, right? They need somebody who has experience, who has. It's not about what he can do on the field. Obviously, that's not going to be a factor. That tells you a lot about the person, what they accomplished in their career. How long did Ty Detmer play in the NFL?
Let me see
15 years.
Is that what it was?
How many years was he a starter?
Yeah,
maybe half that. Maybe not even that.
Why
did he last
everybody?
so long in the league? Because he was valuable for a lot of different reasons besides being a starting quarterback.
Chase Daniel. Think of all these guys who are always those dudes. By the way, did you see that Jaren Hall was on the active roster this week? Good for him, man. I know he was the third quarterback, but I will tell you right now, you and I both know that who's the is it Howell? Sam Howell.
Yeah.
He is terrible.
He sucks.
And Jaren Hall could easily find himself being the backup quarterback.
If he's with Seattle next year, he's going to be their backup quarterback, and we all know what that means. You're one play away.
With Geno Smith, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I was glad to see him on the active roster. I always love when those guys get the full payday. Mm-hmm. That's always fun for us.
That's good.
And then finally, the Browns and Deshaun Watson have agreed to a restructured contract. So $19 he's going to get next year.
Is that the worst free agent signing of all time in the NFL?
I'm just, you know what? For them, it's smart that they actually got to do it. They said he's got a cap hit of $73 million in 2025 and 2026.
Oh gosh. That's as bad as the Russell Wilson hit.
Okay.
You can't miss on these. You can't swing and miss like that on a quarterback. You can't do it. It kills you.
It looks like that he's going to be under contract the next 2 seasons, but then he's set to be a free agent in 2027.
Oh,
so
get in line, everybody.
Can't wait. No, you made your money. I don't know what he's going to end up getting at the end of all of it, but instead of the $230 million deal that they started off with and all of it fully guaranteed, it's going to end up like being 207, 210.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not like he's getting out of there and he's not going to get the payday. Almost all that money has already hit the bank account. That's how they do
$200 million to a bad quarterback and a bad person.
Yep. You said it, not me.
Wow.
But I'll say it. He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got best and worst next, and we'll wrap things up here with our buddy Chris here at the Doug Smith dealership in American Fork. It's the Mitsubishi. You want to come check it out. We've got our best and worst next, so stay here, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. We are at the Doug Smith Mitsubishi here in American Fork. We're going to chat with Chris in just a moment here. Get the best and worst before we get to him. De facto best from him. By the way, best and worst always brought to you by the Doug Smith family of dealerships. If it's the Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Subaru, Kia now, of course, in Linden, and then, of course, we've been at the Mitsubishi here in American Fork. We just love the Doug Smith family of dealerships, so come check them out for yourself in both of the forks. If you get a fork in the name of it, you can have a Doug Smith dealership, and now, of course, like I said, the new Kia dealership in Linden as well. Best of the day. Oh, my goodness. Do we have that audio, Alex, of oh, my goodness. I'm not a huge Shane Gillis fan.
You're not?
I mean, that's not true.
Anybody that has the guts to do this in front of Nick Saban is an incredible comedian.
Huge. But like when he does SNL too, he does a really good job.
His Trump is amazing.
His
Have you heard
Trump
him do
is
Trump?
really funny,
oh,
of
man.
course. But this was him. He was the celebrity picker on game day, and he's sitting at the same table as Nick Saban. Nobody messes with Nick Saban. Shane Gillis messes with Nick Saban. Here's what it sounded like.
You called him a cheater earlier.
I was just joking around. I don't think the SEC paid players ever.
Period. Right?
I'm joking. Are we not? Is this not a fun show?
No.
Serious show?
Serious football.
Like Alabama Jones is very serious.
No, I'm not serious.
Get the whip, Indy.
I do believe in integrity. I always tried to run the program that way so players had a better chance to be successful in life.
I agree.
We make more money in the NFL than any other school, 61 players in the league. That was how we cheated. We developed players. We recruited.
I'm so sorry.
I love that when he goes, "I'm so sorry. I did not know everybody's
Jeez,
gonna
Alabama Jones, lighten up,
Jones,"
bro.
But he was wearing the hat.
He
Get
takes
the whip,
himself way
get
too
the whip,
serious.
Indy. I mean,
oh
my
gosh.
goodness. It was
Shane
as good
Gillis
as
is
it gets.
the best.
It was awesome. And then the worst, we just talked about this earlier in the show. We got the alert
tough
that,
news.
Greg Gumbel, long time sports broadcaster, passes away, complications of cancer at the young age of 78 years old. So there you go.
Yeah, John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals. That was his classic call here.
That was his call here, yeah.
Just a pro's pro. Always great.
78 years old, passes
Tough
away.
news.
So there you go. Joining us on the program now, he is Chris Smith, the Doug Smith family of dealerships. Chris has only been here 40 years, so if you have any questions, you probably got to ask somebody else. He's only going to be able to answer all of it, except for a couple of those extra questions. Now, when somebody does ask a question though about the Mitsubishi, it's an easy sell. When you ask somebody, "Hey, what do you think about the look of this car?" They look better than they think they're going to because they don't have in their head maybe what the new models of a Mitsubishi even look like. That's why we're asking people to come in and test drive them.
Yeah, the styling on them are just great, top to bottom. We have they don't do a ton of different models, but what they do focus on is just the the quality of the vehicle, interior, exterior, the technology's so good to use, easy.
Pretty good in the snow. We got the
Yeah.
we got the ski rack on the Outlander Sport here behind you.
Right.
I just assume you're going up the mountain. It's going to be an easy one for you.
Yeah.
All that's amazing, but people like me who are cheap.
Oh yeah.
We hear the
JJ's
$398 down. We all want a deal.
I know.
$398 down, $398 a month on a 3-year lease. You're not going to get a better deal than that.
No, and that's close to a $50,000 vehicle as well.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
So if you looked at lease, it's leasing.
Yeah.
And it works for a lot of people. Some it doesn't. We can do both ways, but that's just a very good deal. So yeah,
I think everybody's going to be into leasing when you have a deal like that, and you go look, because most of the time people look at it and they go, "Oh, okay, let's look at the depreciation. Let's look at what we're looking at."
What's their interest rate? All
Right,
those
but
things.
when you sit
it's
down,
not an issue here.
But when you sit down and you show them what that guaranteed negotiation at the end of the lease is going to be,
Yep.
it's all up front, and so
Yeah.
they tell you, and that's the part too where it's all up front. They're going to be very clear about how this is going to go.
Correct.
But $398 down and $398 a month, like a true $398 down and $398 a month, that's an awesome deal.
Yeah, and there's no questions asked. I mean, it's on approved credit, different things like that, but it is so cut and dry of it's just this. It's just $398 down.
You'd be like,
$398
what's the catch? It's not
There's
a catch.
no catch.
Well,
yeah.
the catch is maybe you have to come in and test drive it and then go, oh, shoot, they did get me on this. They did.
Yeah, right.
They told me it was going to be good, and it is.
Yeah.
So come check it out for yourself.
Please come drive one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it.
Chris is really cool about just just have a seat and like let's get through this thing and let's work a deal out. It's a really chill environment. Every time we come here, it's a very low key situation. This is how the shop is run. Is like, hey, we want to make sure people are comfortable with it. We're not going to shove anything down anybody's throat.
No.
The car sells themselves.
It
so
does.
that's the way it is.
Yeah,
So
I just want to facilitate for the people when they come in and drive it, and if they want to move forward, great. So
easy to find. You get off at the American Fork Main Street exit. You come east about a half a mile. That's the In-N-Out Burger exit here in American Fork. You come east, and you can find the Mitsubishi.
Yeah. Salt Lake County folks, don't miss out on this deal. It's not that far of a drive.
It isn't. It really isn't. I'm up in Fruit Heights. It's a 38-minute drive from me.
Yeah.
So that's
worth it
really,
on a
really
deal
close.
like that.
So come down, get the deal done, and let's go. Chris, thanks for hanging out
love
with
that
us.
help.
Chris.
Thank you guys so much.
All righty.
Okay.
We'll come back. More to go around the corner, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.